Welcome back once again. Today I'd like to read for you Just a Simple Carpenter, Chapter 8. We watched as Sarah helped Mary wrap the baby in a soft cloth Leonard had brought out from the house. Sarah doted like a grandmother. Mary smiled her quiet smile down on the baby, and Jesus moved from the loud screams of birth to the gentle cooing of contentment. Even the animals in the yard seemed to reverence the moment of birth for this special angel-announced child. I heard a sob in the quietness and turned to see a lone tear crawl down the innkeeper's face. His cheeks were wrinkled into the biggest smile I had yet seen on Leonard, who enjoyed a wide grin most of the time. "Thank you, Lord," I heard him whisper. "Thank you for letting me still be a part of something so important." And then the stillness of the moment was blasted away by shouts and arguing from the street. Leonard and I ran to see what had happened and found about 8 or 10 rough-looking men ranging in age from young to old. The men were loud and almost obnoxious, as they seemed to be searching the city. Their rabble was rousing the neighbors, who stuck their heads out of doors and windows to call for quiet. "You, shepherd," I heard one man call, "go back to your sheep and leave us alone. Do you not know that it is still several hours before dawn? I must rest to be ready for a full day tomorrow." "I just want to know if he's here," the oldest of the shepherds replied. "We're to find him in a manger, and there's only one left in town." "Jerome!" Leonard shouted. "Take your cohorts and your sheep and leave here. I thought I told you never to come here again. Besides, you're too late this time. The baby is born. There are no families to ruin this time." I knew in an instant that before me stood the shepherd Leonard held responsible for the loss of his son so many years ago. That the face that had so recently wept gentle tears of joy at the birth of the miracle child now filled with rage and darkened slowly from the neck. Before Leonard could chase the shepherds away, Jerome pled his case. "We will leave, Leonard, but first we must know. This child you speak of, is he in a manger? Is he wrapped in strips of cloth?" "As a matter of fact, he is," Leonard replied cautiously. "And he is Joseph's son, born only moments ago to the young mother Mary in my stable." Jerome turned to his compatriots, some of whom were just arriving. "He's here," the old shepherd cried. "We've found him. The angel's message is true." "What did you say?" I asked in disbelief. "I said the angel's message is true," he repeated with more excitement than he had first used in his pronouncement. "The angel? What angel?" I asked. "Tonight," he explained, "we were visited by an angel who told us of the birth of the chosen one in Bethlehem. He said we would find the baby wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a manger. And then he was joined by a sky full of angels singing God's praise. We were so overwhelmed with this special message from God that we, all of us, left our flocks, all of them, to come and find the miracle child whose birth is announced by angels." I turned to Leonard, who seemed to be losing some of his resolve to keep the shepherds out. "Leonard," I said, "we must let them come and see the baby. For this is no ordinary child. I was visited only a few weeks ago by an angel who told me wonders about the child that Mary carried, the baby Jesus who now lies quietly in the generous gift of your manger and stable. Let them come." I saw little of Leonard's reluctance left in his eyes. He understood that the peacefulness of the baby in the manger was not to be hoarded by one or two, but should be shared with as many people as possible, even rugged shepherds. As the two men who had been enemies because of an accident years before gazed upon the Son of God, I witnessed the icy fingers of anger and hateful feelings melt away. Leonard put his hand on Jerome's shoulder, and the two watched as Jesus quietly wagged his hands as if reaching out to them. "I'm sorry," a voice said behind me. I turned to see another shepherd about the age of Leonard and Jerome holding a lamb, a perfect lamb, in his arms. "Joshua!" Jerome nearly shouted. "Where have you been? You must see the baby the angels sang of." "I'm sorry," Joshua said again. "I could not reclaim the foolishness of my youth. It was I, not Jerome, who destroyed your family and your child so many years ago. Jerome wanted simply to provide the best of the flock for the celebration of a boy child's birth. I thought we should make a joke and run the flock through your courtyard first. Many is the night that I've lost my sleep thinking about what happened to your friendship because of my childish pranking. Leonard, will you accept this, the finest of our flock, as an offering to celebrate the birth of the new child?" Leonard glanced at me, at Mary, and at Sarah. We each nodded in turn, and the old innkeeper's face radiated its ever-present grin. "We would not have it any other way, Joshua. We must celebrate and thank God for the gift to Joseph of a fine, healthy son." I knew that Leonard did not. I knew what Leonard did not. The gift of this son was a greater gift to me than any other God could give. I would have the privilege, the responsibility of raising his son.